supposed to go read in Brooklyn in a few weeks. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to read because those people are assholes. Their pants are real tight and shit. So I'm reading today and tomorrow, and I'm like trying to figure out like what I should. It's weird, like when you read for people, it's funny. It's like sometimes you want to have read the thing before that you read, and sometimes you want it to be like the very first time. Because there's this weird magic thing that happens sometimes when you read out loud for people where it just works, right? And it's either the second time you've read the thing or the first time you've read the thing. It's really hard to like gauge, right? Like, so I'm going to Brooklyn and I'm like, oh, should I read something for the first time or the second time? It sucks. Either way, it'll be fine. I'm going to read from the new book. It's called The Last Four Novel in the History of the World, but I don't really think it's scary, and it's not very long, so it's not a novel. But the press that I write for right now is called Lazy Fascist. They're out of Portland, and I have this kind of like standing 2-book deal with them a year. I can do 2 books a year for them. Like, I'm supposed to send them another book next month, but I don't know if I'm going to because. Anyway, he sends me titles and ideas, and I'm like, whatever, fuck it, I'll just write the thing, you know. But they pay me better than any other press I've ever worked for, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll write a novel called The Last Four Novel in the History. So this is like the first section. It's called The Dissolves. And right, like, so there's very little on the page, right? I can put a lot of words on a page though too. I've learned both skills. It's all fucking parlor tricks. Scrape, Texas, far from fame or infamy, appeared on maps, was passed through by travelers. A blink of crummy buildings, wooden households, the harsh-hearted look of them like a thing that's born old. When we stood on the rooftop of Blue Parson's treehouse, we could see in the Navy's swollen night sky the orange glow of better towns to be from, could hear the highways to them hissing with car traffic and train horns cooing from their age-rusted track. We knew the direction, you just didn't see us walking. The salt smell of the Bayside was the church of our childhood, and we would not play the role of heretic just because America said, in its school-mannered way, if you stay where you come from, you're doomed to repeat yourself. What we've sadly witnessed, what fate befell us, never happened to anyone in this whole world's history, but tragically, will never happen again. The black magic of bad living only looks hideous to honest eyes. These few streets at dusk, still except for tarrying dogs, their milk-heavy pits swing. Rod Cooter breaks a banjo string, clears his throat. He smokes close. Mindy Stewart has herpes. Tim Biddles has a cell phone and is on it texting a girl named Meredith 2 towns over, and every time she obliges with a picture, he shows us her faceless nudity on the screen. Scarlett and Teddy are in love, say, we'll quit Scrape, Texas when we can, put everything of worth into a U-Haul, drive to Austin and get schooling in us, and not look back ever. Good, do it, you should. Scrape lies between 2 legitimate cities, Corpus Christi and Houston. There are salt water puddles the whole way between them. There's the constant smell of turning fish. On the water, boats with filled sails slow their patterns eternal. We pull crab traps from the shallows, cast dead shrimp and unseen trout, gig flounder in the nighttime, shoot redhead drake from bleak winter skies. We invent a game to anger the city folk. Rob and Tim go to the highway and drive 35 miles an hour side by side. There's no way to pass. So the cars clump up in their commuting. A line of them stretches back through the night like a string of honking Christmas lights. Fridays we fry fish in the front yard. The smell of cornmeal caramelizing in the grease. The mothers make mayonnaise from scratch, mince home pickled cucumbers with the tartar sauce. We sing these old songs in the sweater-heavy nighttime air. The glow of streetlights soft in the salt stench. If I could live my life all over. Mindy Stewart stares out at nothing over that line, and we all know someone will love her no matter what because the way she looks, and we all know that it won't be the love she craves because Mindy never likes what she has. We overdo it, drink until our blood is rust and the prickly sun pinks the sky to dawn. No one's ready for sleep. We take the John boat down to the laguna and row out to the duck blinds where we hide in the humid morning with the shotguns between our legs. We pass out before the ducks show, wake with swollen with mosquito stings. What now? Someone asks. Let's get drunk again. We have whiskey and we work on it. Toss out decoys and wade the water, dragging our feet to stare away the stingrays. Someone shoots at the sky and we wait a moment. After a while, the bird shot rains down. There's so many ripples, someone says, so many ripples. And the shots land, dimpling the water surface. Mindy keeps her herpes secret. She crawls in and out of apartments that smell of new carpet and microwave soup. She knows the boys of high school intimate. They are sharp skin smooth and firecracker quick. They whip in and out of her like snakes' tongues tasting the air. She examines their tightness, the curls in their hair, gives them more than they want of her, makes them say her name. First we saw birds and rabbits, squirrels and frogs, raccoons and possum crossing through the daytime street. Something's off, old Bert says. He's racist towards blacks and he hates the internet. Just makes everybody act blacker, he says. Manny is Mexican and Tyler's black as they come. Manny says, you like me? Hell yeah, I do, old Bert says. We stole this land from your people. Tyler says, you like me? Old Bert says, I'm trying, son. I know it's not right. I was trained this way. Imagine how long it took for folks to admit the world wasn't flat. Old Bert loves his guns. He takes the plug out of a 20-gauge pump, walks into his front yard, starts shooting possums that wander awkwardly in the light, baring their needly teeth when they scare. He blasts a few to muck, their bodies shredding open with the shot, skidding down into the dirt where swell hunks of them disappear. I tell you, old Bert says, something ain't right. Newscast shows static. Mindy lies still in a strange boy's bed. She has a necklace charm that she drags on the chain. It hisses as a zipper might, makes a sort of music in the otherwise silence. She eyes the TV oddly. She drops the charm on her chest, elbows the boy who rests beside her. Something's wrong with your cable, she says. The boy rolls away. It's a fucking sleep, he tells her. Tim Biddle sits in the dark cabin of his Ford truck, his face aglow with his cell phone's light. He nods at it, then unzips his pants. He takes his dick firm in his grip, the erect length of it swelling, the faint smell of sweat and sweet. He presses a button on his phone, and a bright light flashes, taking a pale picture. This what you like, he types, and then he hits send. He waits. He waits for a reply. For a long time he waits. But nothing. He shrugs, shakes his head, keys the ignition. The starter hacks electric and the engine turns over. Tim Biddles puts away his dick. Tim Biddles drives into the night. Blue Parson stands on his rooftop. Rob Cooter sits Indian style, picking banjo notes. Suddenly the distant city lights go dim. See that? Asks Blue. What? Asks Rob. The lights. What about them? They're gone. Rob stands beside Blue, both dumbfounded. Power outage, you reckon? Rob asks. Maybe, says Blue. Let's check the news. Rob climbs down the treehouse ladder. Blue takes the zip line. They cross the yard, enter Blue's home. The TV, which stays permanently on, says, no signal. Tessa says, cash only when Blue sets the Lone Star Sixer on the counter. Who the hell carries cash, he asks. No one, Tessa says, smiles. But the machine ain't working. Like ain't reading the cards, like you tried that plastic bag trick. Shit, says Tessa, it ain't the plastic bag trick. Her dyed blonde hair is tightly braided into ropes, pulled back into a ponytail of coils. They ain't connected. Shit, says Blue, I ain't got cash. Sucks to be you, says Tessa. Blue frowns, shrugs. Come on, he says, let me pay you tomorrow. He smiles all his charm at her. Tessa takes a blonde braid in her hand, swirls it around her finger. Blue, you ain't trustworthy. Is that a yes? Tessa shakes her head. She looks at the camera on the ceiling. She knows it doesn't work. Shit, she says, long as you promise. Blue smiles. In that case, he says, I'm going to switch this out for 12. Let's see if there's any other little parts. I will read one other section. Tessa says cash only, credit card machines down. What? I already heard that. I know I used it twice. I ain't got no fucking credit card, Mindy says as she sets her quart on the counter. Tessa rolls her eye. Just the Miller's in? Mindy shakes her head no, says, pack a can of crush. She points to the black and blue pack. What the fuck's wrong with this machine, she asks. Ain't nothing working right. Don't know, says Tessa as she retrieves the cigarettes, places them on the counter, rings Mindy up. Just not connecting. Had to spot blue a 12-pack. Mindy looks at the camera on the ceiling, flips at the thing. That thing still broken, she asks. Then, you know he ain't paying back, right? $7.50, says Tessa. It's still broken, she says. And if you don't pay me back, I'll kick his ass. Y'all still fucking? Mindy hands Tessa a 10. Tessa Busher, she says. I ain't never fucked no blue hearts. Tessa makes change. Shit, she says. Fuck everything else. Mindy stares hard. Your hair looks like shit, she says. The two women mad dog each other. Mindy takes the lighter from the counter. I ain't fucking paying for this, she says. It gets spooky.
That's what I'm scared.
It gets real spooky.
Makes the gas pumps don't work.
Yeah, no, the gas pumps don't ever get that far. Well, I start barraging in Scrape, Texas with a bunch of Mexican-American folklore freaks, right? Like La Llorona comes through, La Mano, and Negra, Pachona, Paluda, whatever the fuck you
Oh, you met the La Llorona piece at the last pasta phobia.
Yeah, all drunk and scared away the old people.
Yeah, that is terrifying. He did. He drove half a dozen people out of the restaurant.
The table of old people. They were tired.
Ain't nothing worse than getting up to read to people and scaring away old folks. Then you go home and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, you're not scary. It's not you, it's them, they're old.
That's their different.
Maybe.
Are you reading tomorrow night?
I'm supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go, maybe. Oh, last time I read there, I scared away old people. I'm gonna get fucking anxiety attacks before I get out. If you scare away old people once, maybe shame on them. Right? Twice, it's definitely a shame on you situation, right? You should fucking learn not to scare the fucking old people.
So maybe you want to hear some more of Brian tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, what? At Pasta Phobia?
7:30. 7:30, Mama Mia's.
Mama Mia's.
There will
3 years of joy and bliss. It's the 3rd year anniversary of Boston
It was
Poetry.
10 readers, now there's
I'll be there.
30.